today we're going to be playing Yeah Nah, which is a game that I created. It is a 2-player to 4-player game where we compete to win sets. It's inspired by Uno and other games like Shithead that our group of friends really love, and I got sick of tired playing, so I wanted to make a game that has a bit more complexity to it than those games and keeps us interested a bit longer. Within the deck, you'll get a whole bunch of explainer cards, some dice if you want to play alternative versions to the game, a game mode card, and a stack of cards. These cards have numeric values and letters on them. The letters are action cards that allow you to mess with your opponent or help you out. And then there are some numeric values which help you complete your sets. So you start by dealing 3 sets of 3 to each player and dealing 5 cards to the player's hand. This will allow them to have enough cards to play the game and compete. So how you win is having a sequence of either like 1, 2, 3 or A, B, C, or 3 of a kind, 3, 3, 3, A, A, A. And you need to complete all 3 of them. And we'll start. So I've got my good friend here, Rob, to play, and he will start by flipping over one of his sets and deciding on what to do next.
Alright, so 2 or 7, a wild card, and a 3.
He got extremely lucky and has a completed set right off the back with a 2 wild and a 3. So that's a 2.
The wild will be a 1.
Yeah, a 1, 2, 3, which can happen, but it's not locked in yet. That will happen at the start of his next turn. So he'll begin by playing to the pile, and you determine the game mode by either flipping it or just starting on one. We'll start with B, and he will just have to play here. Okay, so now it's the start of my turn. I get to flip over a set.
Do I have to pick up?
That's right. You pick up and return to 5.
Yes.
If he had more than 5 cards, he's unable to play this set. Sorry, it's still your turn.
It is still my turn. I still have an action card.
Yes, you can still do an action. We skipped over it because he got so lucky he didn't need to play to his set. But he can play an action if he chooses.
Which I will skip anyway.
There we go. Cool. So I'm 1 off from a completed set, which is also quite lucky. But I must first play here and beat a 4. And I'll do that by playing this 5 or 10 card. So both a 5 and a 10 would beat that. Then I'll play to my set. I'm going to pick up this 4 and play a 3 or 8, which helps me complete a set. So I'm at 1, 2, 3. I can then choose to play an action, but I will withhold that action for now and draw back up to 5. Now at the start of his turn, because he has a completed set, he can lock that by closing it up and turning it sideways and then flipping over another set. You can only flip over another set once you have no more active sets to play to, like in this case, he's locked one up.
Okay, so I've got a 5 or 10, a yeah, nah, an action card, and another action card, cheeky bugger. Alright, so, but...
there was no actions played, so we didn't have to flip the game mode yet, so he still has to beat that, but he has to beat a 5. The player can choose whether they're beating a 5 or a 10. Obviously, they'll choose a 5.
I'm going to use my 9 beats a 5.
It sure does.
And I get to play to my hand, so I'm going to... I'm going to pick up the yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah is a very powerful card. Do you want to read what that card does, just so they can see?
And I'll place a 2 down. So, yeah, nah card is an action card. It can be played to negate any action card against you as a reaction or placed on the pile at pile phase. It can be played on pile to reset to 0. Ha ha ha.
So essentially, it can stop an action from affecting you, or if you were forced to pick up the pile, it can stop that from happening.
That's right.
And it's the whole point of the name of the game. Yeah, nah, that's not happening.
That's right. And I'm going to skip an action and pick back up
Awesome.
to 5.
So start of my turn, going to lock it in and flip over another set and hope I get lucky. Not too bad. I'm 1 off again, which this might be a really fast game if this is going to keep up. I first got to beat that, so don't get ahead of myself, which is a 4. Okay. Here's a really interesting opportunity to showcase another awesome rule. So this 4 would beat this 4 because of the color value. The color yellow is higher than blue. Red being the highest, yellow, green, then blue being the lowest. So it goes from hot to cold. So this 4 is slightly higher than that 4. So I'm able to play that, which would affect my play to the set because I would love a 4 here, but I am lucky enough to have an additional 4.
Huh.
So that allows me to complete another set quite swiftly as well.
4, 5, 6.
That's right. And I too will skip my action. There's not a lot of actions happening in this game. Sometimes they're fast, these games, sometimes they're not. But that will end my turn.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to I've got to beat a 4.
That's right.
Okay. And how I'm going to do that is with a 8.
Very nice.
I'm going to take the cheeky bugger
You are a cheeky bugger.
and place down a 5. So I've got 2 5s. So I'll be wanting to get a 5.
Third 5.
Third 5. And I'll play an action card. Cheeky bugger. Do you have a 5?
I do not.
You do not.
So
It's a
nothing
little
happens.
bit like Go Fish, but this cheeky bugger is an action card. It says pick a random card or request a particular card from a player's hand, which I asked. If my guess requested card was correct, if you guess the requested card,
Very good.
if my guess was correct, the card becomes mine. If I'm unsuccessful, then nothing happens.
So it just goes in the discard. But it is an action which flips this over to match, which makes the game very interesting.
That's right. And I pick back up to 5
That's absolutely right.
to finish my turn.
So now that it's on match, it works very similar to Uno. Is I have to match a blue, a 3, or in this case an 8. So, and if I can't do that, I have to pick up the pile. And it looks like, but before I do all that, I lock in my set because it's complete. So I can see what I'm working with on my next set. A couple of purples, which are always fun. They can do fun things to help you find cards. Okay, so first things first, got to match that. I'm unable to match that, so I'm going to play a Na'a card. So a Na'a card can negate a single card being stolen. So there's cards that can steal a single card. This will stop that. Or as a reaction, or it can be played on the pile phase. If it's played on the pile phase, the pile gets shuffled and placed back at the bottom of the deck. So we haven't got too far in, but it's kind of a bit of a safety that the pile isn't progressing so far. And then we put that at the bottom. And that's my pile phase turn. Now I get to play an action. I like having an F because it allows me to switch some things around. So of course I'm going to want to put that in my hand. And to expedite this game, we're going to force one player. And I'm going to play my action now. Force one player, you Rob, to switch one of your visible sets with another one of my visible sets. So of course, I would love, and that goes in the discard pile, I would love to swap my incomplete set with your completed one.
And I'm going to use an action card to go, yeah, nah, you can't do that.
And that's the beauty of the game, yeah, nah. But I do want to just preface, if this were to come into my hand, I don't win immediately. It would be played in an unlocked position and it's only the start of my turn will that be locked in. So he still has one more opportunity to either steal that back or mess with me in some way, which he doesn't need to do because he used his Yena. Action was played, so this gets flipped and I draw back up to 5. He now has to beat nothing because it's 0, so he gets pretty much a free go.
So it's like a reset. So I will play green 1. And I've got to play to pile, which I
Play
might.
to your set. Yep.
So I'll play this.
Nice.
And I'll play an action card, Damn Shield. So this shield will shield all visible sets for 1 round from any tampering.
Beautiful.
And I'll pick back up.
And again,
to
that's
5.
an action, so this gets flipped. So I now have to play a match, a green or a 1 there. This is the beauty of this game where you're constantly messing with each other. It seemed like I was very close to win, but it's not the case anymore. I can't steal any of his sets, I can't mess with him, and I have to play a green 1. And in my hand, the only green card I have is a very valuable B card, which would lock one of my sets instantaneously, and it's safe for the remainder of the game. So he's flushed me out with a match, and yeah, that's that, which is great news for him. All right, that being said, I'm going to pick up the Dumpster Diver and play a 3 down here. And I'm going to use this Dumpster Diver. It's a very fun card. I get to search through the discard pile for any card I would like, and this goes in the discard pile after use. Knowing that that's only 1 shield, or 1 turn, I'm going to get that F right back and go for a nice little sweep and hope he has no more Yanas to stop it. Or a Na'a. Oh, no, Yanas only can stop it.
Right.
Cool. That ends my turn, but I did play an action, so again, we're flipped over. Now we're in a really fun position. He's got to beat a B, which is very high. Only a higher coloured B or an A can beat that, or a black Yana or Na. And draw back up to 5. Correct.
No worries. Okay, so I can't beat a B, so I have to pick all this up.
There we go. And now that he's got more than 5 cards, he's unable to play to his set until he is reduced to 5.
That's right.
Which is a fun, or not so fun, depending on who's on the receiving.
So the only thing I have is I can possibly play an action.
That's correct.
And now this is gone.
So that goes in the discard.
And I'll play an action.
And he's made that safe. That's very, very wise.
And no point in me picking anything up because I've got more than 5.
That's absolutely right.
Your turn.
It is my turn.
And I played an action.
Yes,
So
yes, you did. Let's match.
You have to match nothing.
I have to match nothing. It's really hard to match the colour of this table, but I'll try my best. 1 or a 6. And then I get to play to my set, which I don't want to, but I will play an action. I've got another Dumpster Diver, and I'm going to go through here, and I might take that beautiful Yana to stop me being messed with, and I'll draw back up to 5. And it's back to you.
Thank you. So I've got to match a red.
Yes.
True.
Did I swap that? Yeah, I did already swap that. No,
No,
you got to beat.
because you played an action.
That's right.
So I got to beat a 1 or a 6.
Shouldn't be too high.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I will. Now, can I match 1 and 1?
You absolutely. No, sorry.
Can't.
That's a lower 1.
It's a lower one.
That's right. Yeah.
because of colours.
Because of colours.
So I've got to beat a 1 with a 2. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I still can't play my set.
But you can play an action now,
I
which
can.
will then be down to 5, which then allows him to do the set. But he has to play an action first.
This is going to be tricky. So I can't play an action.
Okay. Well, I have to beat a 2. And I'm going to do that with a C. That's all I've got. And now I can either choose that or an action. I don't. But I'm going to help a little friend out here, and I'm going to force him to discard his whole entire hand and draw back up to 5.
Now, can I play the nuh-uh?
No, only a yeah-nah can stop that.
No, you do not. All right. So,
That goes all here.
oh, all on there.
Yep, discarded.
Okay. And I got to pick up 5.
That's right.
2.
That will end my turn. So this flips over to match and draw back up to 5. He was planning something. I could see it.
I was. I had like 4 2s in my hand.
And I needed 1.
Yes. Had them all. Okay, so I've got to match a yellow.
Got
True.
it. Yes, a yellow C.
A yellow C.
Yellow or C.
Okay.
Or pick up.
Or I pick up the 3 and I'm back to where I started, just with like different cards. Not necessarily worse. I mean worse, but yeah. Okay.
Look, it's only fitting that the game creator wins on the tutorial.
Yeah. I had to get rid of that.
Yeah.
It's the only
Bees
thing
always suck to get rid of, but
yeah. So I get to play to my pole.
yeah, maybe you got a 5.
Maybe I got a 4.
Oh, going the other route.
That's right. So I've got a 4, a 5, a 6.
Very nice. Completed set.
That's right. And I'll play an action of Name Shield.
Very, very nice.
So I don't close that yet because I got to wait for a round.
Absolutely right.
It's protecting it from any of the single cards being stolen. Don't touch my shit. And I pick up.
And you pick up the 5.
And I use an action. So.
And that gets flipped.
So this works.
So I have to beat that. Beat a B, he says. I could play that yeah nah that I picked up from there.
Good.
I could. And I might, but I also have another strategy. I'm going to play an A, which allows me to steal any one of his sets, which I've just realized, and it happens. Mistakes happen when you play the game. I treated the F earlier as an A. So I went to steal his whole set, but regardless, he yeah-na'd it, so the result was still the same. Because an F only can steal 1 card, like I could take the 5, not the whole set. Anyway, I'm playing an A, and to do that, and then I do have a 2. So I have a completed set, but it's not my turn yet, so I can't lock it in. But if I had a B right now, I could lock that in and win the game immediately. I don't. And I'm tactically not going to choose to play an action, so he has to beat an A, which is really hard to do. And it's his turn.
My turn. So my turn, that's now
Locked in.
That's not locked in.
Your D is discarded. And he gets to flip over his final set to look at. See what he's working with.
A D, E.
Ooh, you're 1 away.
5.
If you have an F,
But I've got to
beat an A first.
I've got to beat an A with an A. That's the only
A red
option.
A is the only option.
A red A is the only option because we've got red and yellow.
Correct. Or a black, yeah, nah, or nah.
Or a black, yeah, nah.
Or a nah.
No, nah. So no point in delaying it. I can't beat it.
So he's got to pick up that whole pile.
Yeah. Which is annoying. So now, because I got more than 5 cards, I can't play.
He cannot. But if he does have an F or an A, he could try to mess with me. But he does also know I have a yeah-nah card. So the writing is pretty much on the wall at this point. Unless he has a follow-up yeah-nah card that I don't know. Because you can yeah-nah a yeah nah, which is always fun.
Mm-hmm.
There is an A in there to steal a card, I know that.
Yeah, there is. But if you've got an A, a yeah, nah, that's just not going to work, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Unless you've got another yeah nah.
Mm-hmm. And just seeing if there's any other
Possible outs.
Yeah.
Do you have a really fun move that can also happen is he could, well, no, it won't work, but there's instances where you can cheeky bugger a yeah nah out of my hand, but it still then is my turn.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're one
So-
card away from winning, so it is a close game.
It is a close game, but you're most likely, if I can't do anything, just explain it, he's automatically going to win.
Yeah,
Because
because the
that
start
locks
of my
in.
turn locks in and it's game
That
over.
locks in. So, just for educational purposes, there is no point in me playing the E card. The how do you pronounce this?
Eureka.
Yuka. You force one player of your choosing to skip either the action phase or set phase. So there's no point in me playing this as an action because that's automatically going to turn over. It's not a action phase, nor is it a set phase.
Correct.
So it negates the whole issue.
That's right.
So it's just automatic. So the only thing I can do is play an action to try and steal a completed set.
Yeah.
So I'm going to choose
Doesn't matter.
this one.
And as luck would have it, I've got a yeah nah, and I'm not going to allow that to happen. Do you have a yeah nah?
I don't have a yeah no.
And that, my friends, would be pretty much the game, because that's your action. Comes to my turn, lock it in, and the creator of the game wins.
That's right. We forgot to turn this on.
And that is how you play yeah nah.
That's it.
And just like most games, there's a winner and a loser. So right now, Rob feels a bit sour that he lost, but that's just typical.
Not sour.
I also had another yeah nah, so we could have got down to a really nice yeah nah battle, which is always fun.
Because they're reaction cards.
They are reactions.
Yeah. So, yeah. GG.
GG, good game.